And good day, welcome to another broadcast of a man versus machine match, and this time it is in the frame of the man versus machine tournament of LetaBot. LetaBot, welcome.
Yeah, welcome Nevita. It's the first time for me to cast a game like this, but
Okay.
this right here is the game we're seeing is a Tier versus mpasteven,
Mm-hmm.
and mpasteven that is a D-level player,
Okay.
and Tier it's quite a high, quite some. That's quite a new update in recent times,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, it's usually in the like top 8 of all the bots. So
Yeah.
it's going to be quite interesting to see today.
Yeah, Simon Prince has been working hard, so I'd be interested to see as well how it's going to play versus a human. I haven't seen it play a human before, so that's about that, I think. Um, well, shall we start the first game?
Yeah, okay, but before we go explain everything else,
Okay,
this is
sorry.
the okay, yeah, never mind. This is the DC Team League. It's sponsored by Zactonics Industries.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them at www.zactonics.com or you just Google it. They sponsored this Team League, and basically Zactonic Industries. It's a video game development company, and they make video games mainly about. Well, they call it games for engineers. It's a very interesting programming type games where basically you have to use yeah, well, basically an abstract representation of programming for each of these games. It's basically a fun way to learn how to program. It's usually the way to put it.
Okay, well, sounds good. And they're supplying some of the prizes for this tournament, I understood, so that's big thanks to them. So what
Yeah,
we are casting here is the upper bracket man versus machine bit, is that right?
yeah, that's right. So going to cast some man versus machine games today. And right now, so now we can go into the game with the introduction out of the way. We
Okay.
see Tier is scouting, and he guessed correctly. One thing to note, of course, is that these bots they have to deal with fog of war. They're not allowed to cheat in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Tier he sees the spawning pool being built,
Yeah.
and so basically that's an indication of the bot going for some early aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And so to counter it, Tyr is currently building a bunker inside of his own base.
Okay, so it's a bit of adaptive play already.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think this version always builds a bunker in anticipation of an early pool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the later version does it reactively, but this version of Tyr actually builds the bunker all the time.
Okay.
And in this case, that's the correct call to do, of course, because as you can see right now,
Yeah.
Zerglings are being spawned.
Yeah, we've got 5
And
of them.
yeah, but Empa Stephen himself actually anticipating some kind of early rush himself and going for a sunken colony,
Yeah.
expecting maybe something like a barracks supply or some
Okay.
AVAX.
Yeah. Because back in the old games, all the AIs which were in the game were rush bots, doing a 4 pool or doing a proxy barracks or a bunker rush, something like that. Oh, and there the first blood drawn by Tyr and kills off the first Zergling, and mpasteven knows where his opponent is at the moment. What do you think of this bunker placement? I know that AIs usually just A move into the enemy base, but human players like to surround a bit. Do you think that that is gonna be the problem today?
Yeah, well, the thing is, usually when you place a bunker like that in defense of a early pool, usually what you do is you build a bunker a little bit closer to the command center.
Mm-hmm.
But putting it far out like here against a 9 pool, which is what happens, well, it can work because, well, basically, what you do with it is you basically
Oh,
use
there
your
we go.
SCVs. Yeah,
Yeah.
you mainly use your SCVs to try to keep the Zerglings out of your like the main region,
Mm-hmm.
and the Marines are standing behind the SCV.
Yeah.
And basically, bunker is more of a
A save point.
yeah, safe point. Basically, it's you can basically put one marine in the bunker,
Hmm.
And four Marines right now, they can go outside and try to shoot the Zerglings,
Yep.
like they're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can fall back to the bunker whenever there's problem.
Okay.
So what mpasteven could do is maybe exploit the bunker placement a little bit by going around it,
Mm-hmm.
but with proper SCV micro, that shouldn't be that much of a problem.
Okay.
So basically, the bunker basically denies a certain area, so
Yeah.
now they have to move all around it, and then uh, even with a bit of wider surface area, you still should be able to keep the nine pool off bay,
Okay.
especially with all the APM that they have currently, the
Yeah,
bots.
because if you look at the overlay, what is called LetaBot here is of course tier. LetaBot is the player operating these bots in the tournament, and the APM for the AI player is now at 1100, and the human player is only maxing out about 75. So that is going to be a huge difference, of course. The human player is much more intelligent, so that will be an advantage on his side. Now, if we look at the Zerg main base, the only thing we have got as yet is 2 hatcheries, spawning pool, and 3 sunkens. And these sunkens are covering all of the base. And in the human, in the Terran base of the AI player, we see a very interesting building setup. LetaBot, do you know what's going on with that?
Yeah, this is actually a very common response to a early aggression build.
Mm-hmm.
You go for a 2-Rex Academy,
Yeah.
and now also an engineer base as well. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to exploit the fact that the Zerg player himself has a delayed natural expansion.
Mm-hmm.
The natural expansion basically is the mineral line closest to where you currently spawn,
Yeah.
based on ground distance.
Okay.
So basically what Tyr is currently doing is he is building up a force that can put a lot of pressure on the Zerg, because the Zerg basically has some defenses in his base himself, because he
Mm-hmm.
also anticipates that the bot might be going for a rush.
Yeah.
But the thing is that with this army that Tyr is currently building, he can put a lot of pressure on the natural of the opponent, which
Okay.
currently isn't under construction.
No.
But when it is, mpasteven will have a difficult time actually defending it because of this build-up of forces from Tyr.
Yeah.
That's the basic idea behind.
Okay, so it's going to be some kind of a pressure build from here on.
Pressure, yeah.
Okay, well, interesting. As you said, the natural has not been taken, but mpasteven is taking the 5 o'clock, the bottom right at this moment. And that's an interesting choice. And if we look at his main base, he is now going for a mixture of Hydras and Zerglings, and going for Hydra range. So that's going to be interesting to see how it will pan out. Meanwhile, Tyr is constructing his first factory, almost halfway through now, and going for the marine upgrades, weapons and armor. So it looks like some kind of a timing attack is imminent.
Yeah, so the reason why the human player will probably go for the bottom right one is that, well, that's the thing that you can use to trick some of these bots out there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what you do is, well, the bots usually only go for your main and natural at the beginning of the game. They don't really scout all that well once they are in the mid game.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so basically, he also put a sunk in there just in case Tyr might do that.
Hmm.
But basically, what Tyr's going to do is he's going to push out into the main, because that's the one he knows about.
Okay, I see it. Tyr's moving out now.
Yeah.
Moving his bio column, and there are no mech units yet. And
Yeah,
all of one base. That's very interesting.
Yeah, this is basically a one base pressure build. But mpasteven, because of all of his defense inside of his own base,
Mm-hmm.
he can hold this push. But it's going to be a little bit costly as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he has advantage of the choke point now, because he didn't take his natural.
Yeah.
He's in chat. He's also in chat like, uh-oh. So basically,
Yeah.
he
Does
will
he
hold
know this army is coming? Has he seen it? He's got a Zergling out at the bridges, and now he sees a couple of medics. And now he sees the army rolling up to his base. So what we'll do now? Uh-oh. Okay, so now we're getting into the battle with no stim on these marines. That's interesting. Just unstimmed marines with +1/+1, and all the zerglings seem to be dying well without doing any damage at all.
Yeah, that's a bit of a misplay by mpasteven because I don't. Maybe he didn't take the medics into account.
Hmm.
Basically, he had to fight them at once the sunken starts shooting.
Yeah.
That's when you send in your zerglings. So a
Okay.
bit of a misplay here by mpasteven, but
Mm-hmm.
his hydras are strong enough to take down the marines now.
Yes, that's
So he
interesting.
is going to hold it. Yeah.
It looks like it's going to hold, and I thought. And now the marines are stimming. I would have thought that these marines would have done more damage, but of course there are about 4 or 5 marines back at the. We're not getting into the fight. A lot of sunkens going down now, and there are only 6 hydras left, most of them damaged. But there is one more sunken, and I think that one sunken with the zergling is going to do it, and the attack gets cleaned up. So that's a very tight hold for a human player, mpasteven, and the medics die as well. So that's about it. If we now take stock, the human player is on 36 supply and the AI is at 72. So that's going to be a bit of a difference. And as you can see, Tyr has taken, well, not his natural, but has taken another base and saturated it. So now it's a 2 versus 2 base situation. And I must say that the saturation of the human player is not really good. He is now floating 600 minerals and 1000 gas, so he should probably be doing something with that. Or the next attack by Tyr is going to be quite deadly, I think.
Yeah, basically, this is one of the things that bots still have a little bit of issue with. TSMU had this problem as well. Basically, Tyr has not taken his natural expansion, which is like directly below his main base. Instead, he's taken one next to it, which yeah, maybe a little bit of a misplay because now as you might have seen, the SV transfer took a little bit longer. But all things considered, Tyr is still in a very good position.
Yeah.
And he's going to basically be able to deny the natural from going down. Because there's a drone there right now.
Yep.
But he's going to build a hatchery there. But Tyr is going to deny that.
If you look at all this bio coming up, that's going to be hard to hold with only, what is it, 6 hydras? 6, 7 hydras versus this massive bio. That's not going to be cute. And Tyr is already doubling mpasteven in supply, and there they go. First Hydra dies, hatchery gets cancelled, and the drone burrows. That's very cute. But this time, I think that the human player should go for lurkers, because AIs always have a hard time dealing with lurkers.
Yeah, definitely. Lurkers are definitely a threat to the AI. Even my current version of LetaBot still has a bit of a problem with dealing with them. But if I recall correctly, Tyr actually managed to do quite well against lurkers for the most part, though.
Okay.
I mean, if you place them correctly, like at the top of the choke point, like in the main you have the choke point. If you place them on top of there,
yeah,
you've got the high ground advantage where the Tyr cannot see the lurkers directly. He has to scan them. And even then, you cannot effectively fight the 2 lurkers if placed correctly because there's a choke point right there.
Yeah.
So with proper placement, he could have prevented this. But yeah, basically he's a D-level player, and it shows because he didn't manage his build order effectively. No. So now he doesn't really have enough lurkers to hold his attack.
He doesn't have a single one. And now he's back. There are some zerglings rallying over from the expansion, but there are now 8 or 9 marines, and although one now dies, and well, perhaps our human player might hold this after all, but it's going to be very, very close. The medics aren't really microed properly. Only 2 marines left at this point. And I think that the human player has held once more, but if you look at the supplies, it is now 120 almost against a 30. And again, there is a wave of bio coming, and it's going to be bigger every time. Now the natural's being taken for the AI player as well, and more upgrades are underway. So this is, I think, going to be the hammer blow that will do the human player in.
Yeah, well, basically basically how you calculate how many units you need to break Sunkens is basically the total amount of medics that you have
Mm-hmm.
should be equal to the total amount of Sunkens.
Yeah.
And then you have like 4 or 5 Marines per medic, and when you have that amount, you have enough to break the Sunkens cost effectively, at least.
Yeah.
And Tyr has that amount, more than
Yeah,
enough
easily.
actually. Yeah, so basically he can break through this sunken line without any problem.
Okay.
And all of the Hydras that are currently morphing are not going to be enough to stop this wave of attack.
No, this is
Basically,
a
end of season
massacre. All the
stuff.
drones die. Now the lairs being engaged, so this is there are four Zerglings coming from the rear, but that is not going to do anything anymore. So that's it for the main base, and we're only at the 15-minute mark now. And if we look at the 5 o'clock base of the human player, we've got now 6 drones, 2 hatcheries, 2 sunkens, and a spawning pool. And the AI player is in control now with 3 bases operational. Lots of money in the bank, going for more science vessels, going for more marines, and the 2-2 upgrades now done. So now it's a scouting game, and as you can see, the entire map is blanketing in Terran units trying to find remaining buildings. I think that this human player is not long for this world.
Yeah, okay, we can put this replay on fastest times 2 now, because basically it's just a matter of finding the last base. Once
Okay.
Tyr does that,
Yeah.
you can put it at times 2.
Okay.
Once
Well,
Tyr
I'm
does this,
at 2 times now.
yeah.
And I'm at 16:12 now,
Yeah,
time-wise.
around the time so. So
Okay.
basically, yeah, if you look at the amount of Sunkens compared to the Bio army, yeah, Tyr can easily break this as well.
No, this is not
That
going
is
to work.
GG. Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, and here come the Marines. And although the Sunkens and the Lings are doing a good job, it is more like a Protoss good day to die, because this is not going to work. There is just too much bio. We've got almost 100 Marines out. We've got 98 Marines and 23 medics, now over 100 Marines, and this is over. mpasteven calls the GG, and the AI takes the first game. So, GG, going to wrap it up, and that's the first round. We'll be back soon with the second round. For now, thank you for watching and listening, and LetaBot, see you next game.
Yes.